In 2006, something shocking happened in astronomy. A world that generations had grown up calling the ninth planet was suddenly stripped of its title. Pluto was no longer considered a true planet. To scientists, it was a reclassification. To millions of people around the world, it felt personal. Pluto had always been different. Small. Distant. Mysterious. A lonely world drifting nearly 6 billion kilometers away from the Sun, hidden in darkness beyond Neptune. And because it was so far away, many believed Pluto was nothing more than a frozen relic from the birth of the solar system. A dead world. Silent. Inactive. Forgotten. After its demotion, Pluto slowly faded from the spotlight. The giant planets captured attention. Mars became humanity's obsession. Even distant exoplanets began receiving more excitement than the tiny icy world at the edge of our solar system. It seemed Pluto's story was over. But then, everything changed. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto in 2015, it shocked the scientific world. Instead of a frozen rock, New Horizons revealed mountains made of water ice, gigantic glaciers, valleys, haze-filled skies, and something nobody expected: activity. Pluto wasn't dead. It was alive with motion and change. And years later, the James Webb Space Telescope pushed the mystery even further. Using powerful infrared instruments, JWST observed Pluto in ways never possible before. What it found challenged decades of assumptions. The first surprise came from Pluto's atmosphere. Scientists once believed the atmosphere was thin and fragile, made mostly of nitrogen with traces of methane and carbon monoxide. Because Pluto is so cold, temperatures dropping below -220 degrees Celsius, experts assumed its atmosphere would simply freeze and collapse as Pluto moved farther from the Sun. But observations showed something strange. The atmosphere persisted longer than expected. Even more surprising, scientists detected complex haze layers extending high above Pluto's surface. These hazes appear dynamic, changing with the seasons and interacting with sunlight in ways researchers still struggle to explain. In other words, Pluto has weather. Not Earth-like weather. Not storms or rain. But an active atmospheric system that evolves over time. Then came the next revelation. Pluto's surface appeared unexpectedly young. Across much of the solar system, old worlds are covered in impact craters. The more craters a surface has, the older it usually is. But parts of Pluto looked strangely smooth. Especially one enormous heart-shaped region known as Tombaugh Regio. Inside it lies Sputnik Planitia, a vast plain of frozen nitrogen ice so smooth and fresh-looking that scientists believe it is constantly renewing itself. That should not be possible on a world this small and this cold. Somehow, Pluto still has energy. Massive glaciers slowly flow across the landscape. Towering mountains rise several kilometers high. Ice shifts, cracks, and moves over time. And deep beneath the frozen crust, scientists suspect something astonishing may exist. A hidden ocean. An underground sea trapped beneath layers of ice. If that ocean exists, it changes everything. Because liquid water means heat. And heat means Pluto may still be geologically active today. Researchers now believe Pluto could experience cryovolcanism, icy volcanoes that erupt slushy mixtures of water, ammonia, and methane instead of molten rock. Imagine volcanoes made of ice erupting into a black alien sky. It sounds like science fiction. But the evidence is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Even more mysterious are the organic molecules discovered across Pluto's surface. These carbon-based compounds are considered essential building blocks for life. No one is claiming Pluto is inhabited. But chemistry is happening there. Complex chemistry. The kind of chemistry that forces scientists to ask uncomfortable questions. Could Pluto still be evolving internally? Could hidden oceans interact with rock and heat beneath the crust? Could primitive prebiotic reactions occur in total darkness beneath the ice? For decades, Pluto was dismissed as a frozen leftover from the early solar system. Now, it's becoming one of the most scientifically important worlds we know. And perhaps the greatest surprise of all, we may only be beginning to understand it. Pluto is not alone in the darkness. Orbiting beside it is a strange companion named Charon, Pluto's largest moon. But Charon is no ordinary moon. In fact, Pluto and Charon behave more like a double world system. They orbit each other in a cosmic dance, locked together by gravity. And Charon is just as mysterious as Pluto itself. Its surface is carved with enormous canyons deeper than Earth's Grand Canyon. Its poles are stained dark red by chemicals formed when methane escaping from Pluto freezes onto Charon's surface and is altered by ultraviolet radiation from the Sun. This means Pluto and Charon are connected. They exchange material. They exchange energy. Their histories are intertwined. Some scientists even suspect Charon may once have contained a subsurface ocean of its own. Together, Pluto and Charon form one of the strangest planetary systems in the solar system. But the mysteries don't stop there. Pluto's orbit itself is bizarre. Unlike the nearly circular orbits of the 8 major planets, Pluto follows a highly tilted and elongated path around the Sun. At times, Pluto actually comes closer to the Sun than Neptune. For years, astronomers assumed Pluto's unusual orbit was simply a leftover consequence of gravitational chaos during the solar system's formation. But now, some scientists believe something else may be influencing Pluto from deep space. A hidden world. A massive undiscovered object often called Planet 9. This hypothetical planet, if it exists, could be shaping the orbits of distant icy bodies throughout the outer solar system. And Pluto may be one of the clues. Other researchers have proposed an even stranger idea. What if Pluto did not originate in our solar system at all? What if it was captured long ago from another region of space? At first, that theory sounded impossible. But recent discoveries changed everything. Astronomers have now observed interstellar visitors entering our solar system, including the mysterious object, Oumuamua and comet Borisov. These discoveries proved something extraordinary. Objects from other star systems can travel between the stars. Could Pluto be one of them? No one knows. But questions once dismissed as fantasy are now being seriously explored by scientists. Then there's Sputnik Planitia, the giant icy basin inside Pluto's famous heart-shaped region. This area may hold one of Pluto's greatest secrets. The basin appears unusually heavy because of thick deposits of nitrogen ice. Some scientists believe this enormous weight may actually be causing Pluto to slowly reorient itself in space. A phenomenon called true polar wander. Imagine an entire world physically tilting over millions of years because of forces beneath its surface. That possibility suggests Pluto is far more dynamic than anyone imagined. And one mystery continues to puzzle researchers. Pluto appears to have no detectable magnetic field. That is strange. Worlds with internal oceans and geological activity often generate magnetic fields. Yet Pluto does not. Why? Is its core too small? Is the hidden ocean chemically different from Earth's? Or do icy dwarf planets operate under rules we still don't understand? Every answer Pluto gives seems to create even bigger questions. And perhaps that is Pluto's greatest lesson. Science changes. For decades, Pluto was viewed as insignificant, a tiny frozen object unworthy of planetary status. But now, Pluto is forcing scientists to rethink what planets can be. It has weather, geology, glaciers, organic chemistry, possibly even underground oceans. In many ways, Pluto behaves more like a living world than anyone ever expected. Its story is no longer about demotion. It's about discovery. About how the universe continues to surprise us when we finally look closer. The farther humanity reaches into space, the more we realize something extraordinary. The solar system is not made of simple dead rocks orbiting the sun. It is filled with active worlds, hidden oceans, strange chemistry, and mysteries waiting in the dark. And Pluto, the world once rejected by humanity, may ultimately become one of the most important discoveries of all.